My day as a photographer usually starts out where anybody else, I wake up. I have these two beautiful dogs that I live with that are always very happy to be awake as well with me. So I let them out and I'll usually make myself a little bit of breakfast. I don't have anywhere to be. I love a slow morning. And then if I have an assignment, I've usually got my gear ready from the night before because I like to just have everything ready to go, and then I just pick it up and I take off. And then I go to work. One of my earliest memories of first interacting with a camera was visiting yard sales with my dad. We bought a big old stack of National Geographics and an old Shannon CM5, which I still own, and a couple of lenses in this leather case. And I remember that summer and other summers after that, that was all I wanted to do, was go around and photograph the world around me. My biggest supporter, my mother is probably my biggest supporter. She wasn't always happy with the path that I decided to go down on. Not unhappy with it, but I think just that common motherly worry that I'm not gonna be able to make it or that I'm gonna hurt myself. She's always my guest of honor whenever I do anything important. I remember there was one time, sometime in maybe the fall of 2020, and this is obviously the path that I'm on. It's like, this is my job. I am a photojournalist, true and blue. I remember she used to tell me whenever the protest first started that she didn't like me going out there. I should just stay home. And she told me one day, she was like, I think the best thing you ever did was didn't listen to me. Yeah, definitely my mother. There's some people who are contenders though. She's gonna have to step it up. I came to be honored for this work back whenever I was still working a full-time job. I worked at UPS for a really long time, and then eventually I got kind of tired of that work and decided that photography was going to be one of the ways in which I expressed my creativity, but also a way that I wanted to make money. I eventually found photojournalism through activism, specifically after the killing of Breonna Taylor and the worldwide protests that came from the killing of George Floyd especially. I felt like I needed to contribute to a larger community than just my immediate area, family and friends. Quite frankly, I was kind of an angry person. I was angry about what I was seeing in the world, and I felt like it was poisoning me if I didn't get it out in some way. The topics that I pursue oftentimes are ones that I recognize as being historical in some way, and I get to add to that historical record with the photographs that I'm producing. November 18th of 2020, I sent my first email about this day, January 6th. I was really new to the industry at the time, but then a few days before January 6th, the client that I had reached out to said, hey, actually this is gonna be kind of a big deal. Can we have you come out and photograph this with us? So I obliged, and then the next day on January 6th, and then we all know what happened from there. And I was a part of a team. There were 4 other folks that contributed to the collection of photos. I called up one of the people that called me, and they said, John, you did it. You won a Pulitzer. My relationship with LVA it feels like a very new one, because for the longest time I wasn't sure what the organization did. And I know that they're one of the oldest, if not the oldest, arts nonprofit in the state. Since I've been involved with the organization, that there's been a lot more of a concentration on artist education. People that are my age, people that are my experience level. I think that educating children in the arts is important. I think that involving people in art in public spaces and being a patron of that, or being able to facilitate that, is also extremely important. You'll see that in a lot of my work as well. You see with the mural that we did in July that pays homage to the protests in Louisville, or if you look at this most recent endeavor at 21C, in collaboration with Dr. Tyler Taylor. I think that arts in public spaces are really important to me, because I want this work to be seen by everybody. But I also want the experiences that are photographed to feel as big as they were to me in real life, and I want to find more ways to communicate that with people. I think that the Artist Resource Series is probably the greatest thing of value right now, particularly for people who are just like me. Well, LVA Honors, just like any other award, is giving legs to artists who they feel are bringing some value to the community, and recognition is one of the things that I think personally helps propel an artist by saying, like, hey, you're on the right path. Recognition isn't everything. There are a lot of amazing unrecognized artists, but anybody who's in a creative endeavor, particularly one if you're on your own, knows that sometimes that's the fuel in your rocket ship that makes your career worth pursuing, makes the work worth pursuing even more. I feel very fortunate and very lucky to have been placed, really elected as an artist in this community.